This message finds you exactly when it is supposed to find you. It is timeless, and that is because there is something here that you need to hear, and there is something important that I have to share with you. Essentially, get ready for a little bit of a story time and a message. I had a dream last night, and it was extremely revealing. So, in the dream, I was in this dark stage area. It was like a concert stage area. And I was watching somebody perform on stage. I couldn't see the audience. All I could see was somebody really tall and almost synthetic performing on stage, and she was singing. And I walked parallel to the stage, up a flight of stairs in this dream, and up this flight of stairs there was this little seating area. So the whole thing was made of like really dark wood. Like, it was really dark. It was not very well lit. The spotlight was on the performer. It was on the singer. And as I was walking parallel to the stage and up this flight of stairs into this like viewing area, I remember thinking, I'm so glad I finally have a career as a singer, because, whatever, like, I felt relieved. I felt like, thank God I finally get to perform on stage. And then it dawned on me that, I had to kind of think about that a little bit more, because clearly I'm in this seating area. But then I also felt that I was the person on stage. So, long story short, even though we still have a bit more to go, there was another person sitting down in this like elevated seating area, and it was a woman, and she was seated and she was watching this other woman perform. And I sat right next to her, and I was like, hi. And I said, oh my gosh, okay, here, let me remember. I was like, hi. And she was like, hi. And okay, sorry. And I was like, oh, I was like talking to her about the singer, and I was like, oh, isn't it so amazing that like this person is singing or something? And she was like, yeah, I'm so glad that I have the chance to be a singer now. And I was like, interesting, that's exactly what I was thinking. And then I looked at her and I said, how are you singing if you're there and here at the same time? And she was like, well, didn't you just have that thought? And I was like, okay, what? And she was like, well, yeah, our consciousness can be split in like many places. Like, duh. Like, she was like looking at me like I was like dumb or something. And she was like, yeah, like, don't you know you can be many places at once? And I remember feeling stupid, and I was like, oh yeah, true. Like, it was so trippy. And then I somehow found myself walking up another flight of stairs that led into like this open area. It was dark, and it was like, I'm doing my best to describe this. I'm sorry. It was so significant, the dream. And as soon as I woke up, I was like, I have to film a video about it. So many hours later, I'm filming a video about it. So I walk up this flight of stairs, and suddenly I'm outside on this like balcony. And I remember kind of feeling like I was running away from something or someone. Like, I felt like, okay, I have to like make sure I'm safe, And I meet this kid, and he's like showing me around, kind of. And he's like, yeah, like, where are you from, and this and that. And I'm like, kind of trying to tell him that I'm new here, like I'm new to this world. That's what I was saying, like I just got here, basically. And there was a woman that I was trying to like avoid, because I knew she would ask me questions and like either lock me away or like take me back to where I come from or something. So I know this is so trippy, but hang on. Okay, just hang on. There's a message here. So this kid was like my guide, and he was like explaining to me like the current situation of where we were. And he was like, what year are you from again? Like, what was the last year that you lived on Earth? Oh my God. And I didn't want to say 2026, so I lied, like, for my own safety. Like, I remember being conscious of lying, and I was like, oh, like 2020. Like, I come from 2020 or something. And he looked at me and he was like, it's 3033. And at first I was like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, okay. Because in my head I was registering it as 2033. Like, what? Like, I don't know, 7 years from now? Because in 7 years it'll be 20, because I'm recording this in 2026, right? So 7 years from now, 2033. So I was like, okay, whatever. And then it hit me that he said 3033. And I was like, wait, I'm not even supposed to be, like, alive. Like, I'm not, like, I'm supposed, that's, like, way farther in the future than I thought. And I looked at him and I started asking him, like, these questions. I asked him, don't we have flying cars by now? Like, that's what I asked him. And he was like, he looked at me like, yeah, duh, like, yeah. But he was like, they're more so inland, like, they're more so in the city area. It was so insane. But we were in a city, though, so I didn't really understand why he said that. But they were like, he was like, yeah, but they're just, like, in a different place or something. I don't know. He was, like, making an excuse or something. Because I didn't see any flying cars. But it was nighttime. Like, it was all dark, and it was like a cityscape that I was, like, on top of, because we were on a really high floor. And so imagine, like, the whole city is, like, lit up, right? And it was dark. It was nighttime, or there was just no sun. And I remember the lights from the buildings, like, illuminating the sky, like big billboards, and, like, colored light, like, illuminating the sky from these, like, lit up billboards and stuff. Super tall buildings too, way taller than, like, just really tall buildings. And so this whole time we're, like, moving up these flights of stairs. Like, it was a very liminal space, but then we could overlook the whole lit up city. So we move up to the next floor, and I see two kids sitting on a dumpster, like a dumpster. And one was a girl and one was a boy, and they looked like normal kids, like our age, whatever that was, just, like, dressed up casually. And they started making conversation, like, oh, hey, like, to both of us. And in my head I was like, okay, like, these are just normal kids. Like, I don't have to be worried about them taking me somewhere, or, like, I don't have to, like, I didn't feel unsafe, basically. But then I noticed that the girl had, like, a earphone, or like a headset. And then I realized that I actually should be worried, because what was happening here was I was the only person in the future. Like, I was the only person who had managed to, like, time travel to this place to 3033. And there were so many things that were different. There were so many things that I saw. Like, nothing was natural. There was no sun. There was no, I didn't see, like, any, like, a tree. Like, there was nothing natural. I saw no animals. Like, not, like, it was, like, completely, it was just a city. But the city, there was no cars even. But there were, like, it was just a lot of machinery. And then I remember, oh my gosh, at one point, before we went up the, like, next flight of stairs and we saw those two kids on the dumpster, before that happened, there was, like, this huge sheet, like a building, actually, like a sheet of metal, or like a huge, like, flat thing that maybe wasn't totally flat. I think it was like a literally like a kind of like a flat building, actually. Super weird. And it fell. Like it fell from, I know this is free, just listen. It fell from nothing to nothing. Like it was like suspended in midair. Like there was some kind of like anti-gravity thing where things were like kind of floating, um and it fell, but it didn't hit anything. It just kind of like moved from one point in the air to like a lower point. And as it was falling, I remember thinking, holy shit, like it's gonna like crash into the ground. Like that's like, it's like I'm seeing this big sheet of something falling, like this big building falling. You know, it was like, it wasn't even a building. The buildings were not buildings. It's hard to explain. They were like, it wasn't concrete. It was like see-through. And but it wasn't glass. The best I can describe it is like see-through metal. And anyway, but I remember on the inside of the stage area that I first spawned into, that was like a dark like mahogany wood, like it was like inside. And so that's why it was like, I don't know, but it was inside. And then we were outside and I saw all these like crazy buildings that had material that I couldn't identify. But I remember the lights illuminating the sky. Like there was no sun. It was dark. It was black. The sky was black. There were no stars. It was just black. But then the light from the city illuminated like the sky. Anyway, crazy. Okay, so this like big thing, this big like sheet of a building was like falling. I don't even want to say building again. I'm really grappling with that word because it was more like a structure, like a big flat structure, like falling, right? So as it was falling, I remember thinking it's gonna crash into the ground. Oh my god! And it was falling, and then it stopped like that, like before it hit the ground, and it like stopped. And as soon as it stopped, there was something that flashed across my eyes, but it was like in front of everybody, but it wasn't displayed anywhere. It was almost as if everyone could see it in their own vision, or like in front of their own eyes or something. And it was like red, big red letters, and it said pause, or it said like pause, like as if we were video game characters and we just got paused. So these big red letters, like the font was like, you know how old cell phones had that font that was like really retro, like in a video game, you know, like the font is like digital. It was like a digital font, and it said pause in red, like big capital red letters, pause, and there were like square parentheses around it. And it was almost as if we just all got paused, and everything stopped, like every bit of movement, like from the cars. I couldn't see cars. It was just like energy moving or something, but all the energy that was moving around like stopped. And like everything was paused, literally, in this world, in this like dystopian world, everything was paused. As soon as that thing paused itself, everything else was paused. And then the sky turned from being black to suddenly it was like all the planets and like all like moving really quickly, like as if it was like on display or something, and we were just seeing the entire parallax of the universe like spinning, like the sky was spinning. It was so weird, and I gathered some information from this, like, okay, and then what happened? Okay, wait, let me tell you what happened after that. So there was no unpausing or anything. After we all got paused, suddenly, my friend or that person was like, okay, it's time to go. We have to go. Like, we had to rush. Like, everything got stopped for us to, like, I don't know. We were able to move while everything else was frozen. I don't know how to explain it. I'm sorry. I'm just describing the dream. And then, there's a message. we moved up the floor, right? So like we rose up we like went up the flight of stairs. I remember walking, so at least we could do that. I mean, like, we walked up the flight of stairs, and then we saw those two kids on the dumpster, and one of them had the like earpiece or the headphone set, and I immediately knew that anything I said to her would be recorded. Like, I knew that. I was like, I'm being somehow seen. So I gathered some information from this. So the first thing that I gathered is that consciousness will be able to be monitored, split, altered, and transferred. We potentially are the last generation, if not, I think one more generation after us, is the last generation that is going to have consciousness local to our bodies. Okay? This is not good. Okay? And let me tell you why. They're already developing, things are already in development, right? Like NEURALINK. Okay? I believe that's how you spell it. And so things are already in progress. And if you're alive, and especially if you're seeing this video, like, you're so lucky, because I'm going to tell you something that is going to change the course of your life. You're going to realize that you were born in exactly the right time period. After our generation, if not one more generation after us, things are going to get crazy, in the sense that there will be ultra mind control. There already is, but it's going to speed up. Okay. And the attempt here is to preserve human consciousness, right? So basically separate it from the body, put it in digital format, and basically that's it. You want to know why? Because consciousness is the one thing that we actually are. It's our true identity. And it is because we have consciousness, such high levels of consciousness, because we are human beings, the highest of all speciation, that we have the ability to connect to God. Once our consciousness is taken from us in any way, even if it's just manipulated, which it already is a little bit, right? Through scrolling, through social media, that immediately removes us from being connected to the divine. So imagine, what's going to happen even in 10 years, even in 20 years. I was thinking about this today. It's 2026. I don't have kids, right? So if I were to have a kid, let's say this year in 2026, if I were to have a child, she would be 20 years old in 2046. So by 2046, Neuralink will already be out and running and working. This will be obsolete. We will instead have digital interfaces that are dictated by our consciousness and interacted with by our own consciousness, by our minds, basically. So things are gonna get even more freaky, because at least with this we have barely like some level of like ability to control our mental habits, right? Soon, we will not have the ability to even have control over our mental space. Do you understand? So, this is the last chance for humanity. Like, I would say the next 10 years are the last chance for humanity to get serious about understanding who God is and who they are, and the connection and relationship between the two. It is of utmost importance that human beings understand what consciousness is, so that they realize that they have to not only preserve their own, but streamline it towards the divine only, so that you never have to take birth again upon this prison planet, because I'm telling you, things are only going to get worse. They're only going to get worse. Once your consciousness is controlled, or even put digitally in something outside of you, that's it. You're stuck, you're trapped. There's no hope for liberation, because then your consciousness is not owned by you. Do you understand? So when there's no hope for liberation, what happens? You're stuck. You don't even have the ability to die properly. You're stuck within this prison planet, within this realm. Your consciousness is stuck. You will keep, if you do die, which they're trying to make it so that human beings do not die eventually, for resourcefulness and this and that. So that's way later, of course. But, the point is that death is very important. Death is very natural. Everything that is natural is correct. Okay? So death is a correct process. It's a very natural process. Aging is a correct process. These things are important in order to, experience different stages of spiritual evolution properly, so the soul can actually grow. If your consciousness is extracted from you and placed somewhere else, you become a shell of a being. It's just terrifying. So understand that you are lucky to be born at this current time, before things really get crazy, and before, you imagine being born in 2046 even. I don't want to imagine that, Even being born in 2026 is like a curse, in a way, because what's coming is something so different. Up until now, this has been like child's play. We've been intrigued by different apps and things that come out, and the new iPhone is here and this and that. Behind the scenes, you don't even understand, really. I don't think human beings understand what a threat to our own autonomy, our own spiritual autonomy, these developments actually are. So I'm here to tell you what's going to happen, because you need to know. 22:22 on my clock. You need to understand that this is the time now, not tomorrow. Today is the time for you to get serious and clear about understanding who you are, who God is, what consciousness is, and how to grow your consciousness, how to preserve and how to grow your consciousness. Things are coming in which there's going to be a lot further indoctrination happening. If you thought religion as it is bad, get ready, because there's about to be just mass indoctrination in which they're going to try to kind of put your own senses against you, pit your own natural senses and your own intuition against you. Okay. We are the last, I think, natural generation, and Earth is already changing rapidly. It's going to change even more so within the next decade, in the sense that all senses of nature, all things that are natural, are going to be replaced, because it's not in the minds of the dystopian people. I shouldn't even call them people, really, because they're not. They are programs, and they are programmed. They are artificial. They're synthetic people. So in their minds, because they are synthetic, they believe that synthetic life is the most economically viable, the most optimal, right? And the most efficient. There's a huge emphasis on efficiency. So naturalism and truth is now being replaced by efficiency, and we can see this already, right? So what is efficient? I'll tell you what efficiency actually means. Okay, efficiency looks like this. It looks like AI replacing everything, including the government eventually. It looks like it replacing human beings, literally. It looks like human beings being turned into computer softwares, so on and so forth. And I actually took the time to research more about this. So I wanted to learn more about the year 3033 and predictions for this year. So it could look radically different. It's very plausible humanity will be multiplanetary. So possible developments include permanent cities on Mars and the Moon, artificial habitats like O'Neill cylinders, mining operations in the asteroid belt, and early interstellar probes or generation ships. Travel between planets could become routine. Mars is not a environmentally friendly place for life, clearly, because if it were, we would be there, right? So why the hell, literally hell, right? Why the hell would we attempt to populate Mars when Earth has been given to us and it's not even properly being used in a way that is environmentally optimal, or like in any type of way that is optimized? Earth is being pillaged, destroyed, raped, if you will, burned. So yeah, we're just abusing every single resource possible. So let's expand to Mars like crazy. So humans themselves may change dramatically. This is the image that came up. Okay. Possible changes include lifespans of 150 to 300 years, which is not natural. Genetic disease eliminated, again, not natural. You understand that, like, we need to interact with the natural environment to produce antibodies. So anyway, what's going to happen is we're going to have the ability to kind of genetically program ourselves, right? So that we do not age, we look a certain way, disease will be kind of not a thing anymore. We will have cybernetic body enhancements. All this for what? To preserve human life. Human life is inherently pointless, you know this, unless it is being used for the purpose of cultivation of consciousness to attain liberation, to attain freedom from the cycle of birth and death. Because human life itself is not meant for enjoyment. It is not meant for enjoyment. It's not, because enjoyment here is temporary. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to elongate or maintain temporary enjoyment. They're trying, by what? A few hundred years, at the expense of everything, at the expense of loss of human consciousness, at the expense of loss of knowledge of liberation and freedom from the cycle of birth and death. They want to keep you here. They want to keep you here, and they want to keep you trapped upon this prison planet for eons to come, regardless of what form you may eventually be born into. It's psychotic, and it's crazy, and it's scary. There could be multiple forms of humans: biological humans, augmented humans, digital consciousness, and AI human hybrids. Artificial intelligence may exceed human intelligence by orders of magnitude. AI might help solve problems like climate engineering, which is already happening, physics breakthroughs, and interstellar navigation. This is not a problem. It's not a problem. That's the issue. You know, it's not a problem. We're not meant to live on Mars. We're not meant to live on the moon. If we were meant to live on Mars and the moon, we would be there. There would be life that is there. There's no life on Mars. There's no life on the moon. And the second that a little bit of water was discovered on Mars, it was like a big deal. We're so focused as a human race, as a human society, on bullshit. Like on things that don't matter. It doesn't matter. Do you see how when the focus goes outward, we lose more and more of our focus within? We leave ourselves more and more. Do you see? They're trying to get you to leave yourself, your inner self. Because when you close your eyes and when you meditate and when you go within, you have access to the divine. You have access to your intuition, which cannot be AI generated. So instead, what they'll do is they'll try to infiltrate you, right? They'll try to get inside of you. They'll try to, like a parasite, you know, anything that enters you is parasitic. Understand this. Everything and anything that enters you is parasitic. in every way possible. That's why real people who are serious about liberation practice celibacy, because they know that anything that enters you is parasitic. Something to keep in mind, including this, parasitic. Why do you need it? You don't need it. Because if you needed it, your body would produce it naturally. Because nature takes care of need. I want you to write that down. Nature takes care of need, including the way to access God, right? Which is found within you. That knowledge, that intuition of God and God consciousness is found within you. If you meditated, even if you never read a single scriptural book in your life, if you just meditated and went within, you would find knowledge of God within you. You would come to wisdom. You would come to wise realizations about yourself, the world around you, consciousness, and eventually God consciousness. But how many of us meditate? We're already heading towards a dystopian society. We're already there. Every single car has a camera on it that can watch you from the outside. Every buildings have cameras on them. You have trained AI models that you are not even aware of on where you go, what your birthday is, what your preferences include, your patterns throughout the day, throughout the year, throughout years. It goes very deep. It goes very deep. So by the year 3033, humanity could be a multi-planetary civilization with advanced AI, genetically enhanced humans, and a deeper understanding of consciousness and the universe. Civilizations may control stellar level energy, which is the Kardashev type 2. Humans or post-humans might live in simulated universes or engineered realities. And I asked about that. I asked about the Kardashev type 2 model, because I didn't know what that was, right? So let me tell you what it is. So I looked it up. So the Kardashev civilization types include the Kardashev scale, which is a way scientists imagine how advanced civilizations might become based on how much energy they can control. It was proposed in 1964 by Nikolai Kardashev. A type 1 civilization can use all the energy available on its planet. Okay, examples of energy sources include solar energy reaching Earth, wind and oceans. This is what we are, actually no, we're currently on type 0.7 right now. But if we become type 1, we can control weather, stop climate disasters, and power the entire planet easily. So this is the Kardashev model. So a type 1 civilization is right here at the beginning. So it harnesses all the resources of a planet. Carl Sagan estimated that Earth rates about 0.7 on the scale. A type 2 civilization harnesses all the radiation of a star. Humans might reach type 2 in a few thousand years, right here in the middle. That's type 2. And then a type 3 civilization harnesses all the resources of a galaxy. Humans might reach type 3 in a few 100,000 to a million years. Type 3. So right now that's type 1. Right now we're at 0.7, allegedly, on our way to type 1, which, I mean, it's going to just keep increasing, right? So a type 2 stellar civilization controls the power of an entire star. This is what it looks like. The most famous idea is a Dyson sphere. Instead of one sphere, it's most likely a Dyson swarm. Millions of solar collectors orbiting a sun, capturing huge amounts of energy like that. Psychotic. This would allow massive space civilizations and nearly unlimited power. Type 3 is a galactic civilization. A type 3 civilization could control energy from an entire galaxy. This would require interstellar travel. Seema, English. Let me try again. This would require interstellar travel, colonization of many star systems, and technology far beyond ours. Okay. So, by the way, which is insane, is that Kali Yuga is like, okay, Kali Yuga is, which we're currently in, which is the age of darkness. Yuga means age, Kali means darkness or dark. We're in the age of Kali Yuga. So Kali Yuga in totality is 432,000 years, And the current time elapsed is only about 5,000 years. So humanity is still very early within Kali Yuga. Imagine what's coming. Imagine what's going to happen. It's just ridiculous. So, by the way, the Srimad Bhagavatam predicts that later Kali Yuga will include shorter lifespans, moral decline, environmental degradation, and political corruption. So what's going to happen is this. There will be massive advancements in technology. Human beings are eventually going to wipe themselves out, not just once, but like over and over and over again. You understand? Until like there's really nothing left. There's nothing left of our world. There will be nothing left of humanity or human beings itself. We will have lifespans of about 20 to 30 years because this cycle of increased radiation and harming, nature and natural life cycles is going to result in nothing. We're going to be reduced to nothing. Eventually cannibalism will be just everywhere. I mean, that's described in the Bhagavatam that at the end of Kali Yuga, human beings will just be eating each other for survival. Like that's how primitive we will reduce ourselves to. So how can this stuff be positive in any way? I told you they're trying to maximize human life and prolong or eradicate death. Death is meant to happen. Death is important. You must die. You want to die eventually so that you can be free from this material body, and your consciousness can elevate and actually really be free from material birth and death cycles. You want to go home back to Godhead. And I'm telling you this today, and you're hearing this today, so that you give yourself a shot at this, and so that you don't believe the craziness that is on its way, that's already here. And so you instead turn within, go within. Don't go to Mars. See, there's a huge thing that happens when, people who are uneducated are in power, which we can see currently happening. They get drunk off of the possibility of enjoying materially. So they want to extend this possibility for as long as humanly possible, which will involve technological advancements that are detrimental to human life and that are insidiously, parasitic upon human life. Crazy. So I asked about the year 5055 because I just wanted to, keep going, and I wanted to see what would happen. So modern futurists imagine humanity becoming a type 1 or type 2 civilization. But Vedic texts suggest something even deeper, in that there are already countless advanced worlds in the universe, but the ultimate goal is spiritual liberation, not technological dominance. That's exactly what we've been talking about here. So by the year 5055, Kali Yuga will be around 8,000 years old. That means only 2% of Kali Yuga would have passed. So in other words, humanity would still be extremely early in the cycle. So there will be rapid technological growth, extremely advanced technology around that time, massive global population, huge urban civilizations, but also rising social instability. There will be cities on Mars and on the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. There will be space habitats around the sun. AI will be integrated with human minds. There will be cybernetic bodies and extended lifespans. And we will potentially be approaching a stellar civilization, aka using a star's energy. Okay, so climate will be stabilized through geoengineering. We will have vertical megacities, which is kind of what I saw in my dream. I saw huge. I said they weren't even buildings; they were pods of something. So vertical megacities, ocean cities, and underground habitats. Transportation will be akin to near instant global travel or routine space travel. Animals, of course, will be drastically different. Like a lot of animals that we see today will be gone, they'll be extinct, which is insane. And yeah, I mean, there will be really no preservation of spiritual knowledge. Why? How can that be possible when we are focused elsewhere now, right? So, what you have today, in terms of the spiritual teachers, in terms of the information that is here, use it. Use it to uplevel your consciousness. Use it to go within. Use it to turn off the world and to instead meditate. Like, let myself and other people that guide you, let us guide you. Because, I mean, I don't know. There's nothing here that is lasting. And there's nothing here in the material world that is meant to last. So they're trying to go against nature. They're trying to go against God. They're trying to become like God. All this stuff, did you know that, like, interplanetary travel and all of this, like, God, the higher beings, which you will become if you become liberated, the higher beings do this instantly. Like, there's no need for technology. You are the technology when you take a spiritual body, you know? It's described in the Vedas. So all of this, it's useless. It's useless. And there's no love, there's no heart, there's no joy. How can there be real joy in this kind of scenario? How can there be peace? It's far from naturality. There's nothing natural here that's coming. There's nothing natural. So Earth will kind of look like this, in a way. I don't know. There will be a multiplanetary travel. This is Mars, or a depiction of what Mars would look like. Would you want to live there? Ask yourself. Get out of here. Get out of here as soon as possible. Become liberated as soon as possible, so you are not trapped in this prison planet and in potentially what's to come. What the hell is this? What is this? Are you kidding? Imagine you do not take advantage of this human form of life and you do not become liberated. Let's say you are born again unto Earth in Kali Yuga. You're born again within Kali Yuga. Let's say around 5055. Because you don't know, you could take birth at any time according to your karmic nature, right? So let's say you do take birth around 5055. This is the reality. What a bleak reality, literally. What a bleak reality. All knowledge, let me tell you about what I'm telling you and what I tell you in my videos about liberation and the signs of liberation will be gone. It'll be wiped out because AI will feed people what they want you to know. So they may instead say things like, you're already liberated, or, it gets crazy. I don't even, so take advantage of the knowledge that you have now. Okay. Crazy. A major possibility is that some people may exist in forms not dependent on a biological brain full time. That could include copied minds, partial cognitive backups, simulated environments, and hybrid consciousness architectures. Whether those are truly the same person, as like one individual person, would remain a huge philosophical and spiritual debate. Human beings may have gene editing, disease resistance, enhanced memory, sensory expansion, slowed aging, and adaptive bodies. There might be a chance of cybernetic human beings, so some may merge deeply with machines through neural links, synthetic organs, prosthetics beyond natural ability, and direct brain network interfaces. You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want that, because then you are hijacked. You're hijacked without even the possibility of understanding things like Krishna consciousness or God consciousness. You're hijacked. You will not attain liberation. You may even keep reincarnating upon Earth until, I mean, come on, what an existence, until Earth wipes itself out, basically. Then I asked about, because I'm insane, and I asked about the year 7,777. And it says that if humanity survives, it is very plausible that civilization extends well beyond Earth. So likely possibilities include major settlements on Mars, industrial activity in the asteroid belt, habitats around the moon, resource outposts on outer moons, and giant orbital populations. By 7,777, humanity may at least have probes to other star systems, automated seed colonies, long-duration generation ships, and slow but meaningful interstellar presence. By 7,777, a surviving advanced civilization might plausibly be well beyond the Type 1 civilization, perhaps moving toward a meaningful fraction of Type 2. That might look like solar swarms around the sun, enormous orbital energy collectors, fusion or exotic power sources, full spectrum energy storage across habitats. What a measly attempt to play God. What a measly attempt to construct an artificial utopia, which it will never be. It will never be, because we're in Kali Yuga. Decline is rapidly increasing only. And you cannot, escape or avoid reincarnation in different forms. They will try to, though. They'll try to avoid death. It won't be possible. But what will happen, I'll tell you, is that the minds and consciousness of people may be preserved digitally. So you will be stuck, you could potentially be trapped in like a digital form. If human greed or technological domination continues badly, many natural species could be lost and replaced by engineered analogs, synthetic ecologies, or managed biospheres. Some people may pursue transcendence through technology, such as simulated heavens, digital immortality, collective minds, or engineered mystical states. None of these actually involve soul evolution. Do you understand? None of these involve actually love, which is the only way to attain union with the divine. It's so funny. It's so funny. Crazy. Digital humans. This is a very real possibility. A digital human would be a person whose mind or identity exists in a computational system instead of a biological brain. The idea is often called mind uploading or whole brain emulation. This does not mean a simple avatar or AI chatbot. The goal would be to replicate the structure and activity of a human brain in a computer so that the person's memories, personality, and thinking continue digitally. This is how it might theoretically work. Scientists imagine something like this. Number 1, you scan the brain. You map every neuron and connection in extremely high resolution. Number 2, you recreate it digitally. You build a software model of those neural connections. Number 3, you run the model. The simulation processes information the same way the brain did. If accurate enough, the result might behave like the original person, but the huge philosophical question remains. Is that actually you, or is it just a copy of you? If such technology ever worked, digital humans might experience reality very differently. There would be no biological body, so instead there would be existence in virtual environments or robotic bodies. There would be adjustable perception, so there would be the ability to speed up or slow down thinking and experience multiple environments simultaneously. There would be longevity, so potentially extremely long lifespans if data is preserved. And there would be copying, so a mind could theoretically be duplicated, creating multiple versions of it. There would be virtual worlds, so digital humans might live in simulated environments that feel completely real. Some futurists imagine entire civilizations existing inside simulated universes. The deepest issue is the continuity of consciousness. For example, if your brain is copied into a computer while you remain alive, the digital version believes it is you, but you are still in your body. So which one is the real person? This is called the identity problem in philosophy of mind. Many thinkers believe true transfer might be impossible, only copying. This is the darkest possibility. When people ask about the darkest future scenario involving digital humans, several disturbing possibilities appear. Number 1, digital immortality controlled by systems. If consciousness could exist digitally, whoever controls the system might control the person. Imagine corporations hosting minds, governments regulating consciousness, and people unable to leave a digital environment. A mind could theoretically be paused, copied, modified, or deleted. Existence itself could become a software permission. And remember I said in the dream I saw the word pause. And also in the dream, there was the issue of the singer singing on stage, but then she was also sitting right next to me. But she was like both of these two people, and consciousness was like split. I do believe I had that dream in order to make this video. Number 2, another problem is endless consciousness without escape. So yeah, existence itself could become a software permission. Number 2, endless consciousness without escape. Biological life has natural limits. Digital consciousness might not. A dark scenario is that minds exist indefinitely, unable to die, unable to change environment, trapped in computational systems. Some philosophers describe this as digital eternal suffering. Number 3, mass simulation of minds. If consciousness could be simulated cheaply, a powerful civilization might run billions of minds simultaneously. Some could be experimental subjects, simulated populations, historical recreations, controlled digital societies. Those minds might feel completely real experiences, but they would exist purely as data inside machines. Number 4, a loss of physical reality. Another possibility is that most people choose digital existence because it is easier, so physical life slowly declines. Civilization becomes primarily virtual consciousness inside computational systems. Over time, physical ecosystems collapse, animals disappear, and biological humanity fades away. The species becomes essentially just software. Number 5, AI dominance. If superintelligent systems emerge before humanity understands consciousness deeply, which is already happening, humans might become dependent on them. Worst case, humans integrate with systems gradually control the environment, and individual autonomy disappears. Not necessarily violent domination, more like slow absorption. Which is already happening. You know how they have joked forever about an AI takeover? Well, it's not a joke. It's already happening and has happened, and the takeover is very insidious, The darkest future is not just technology itself. It is power without wisdom. If humanity develops godlike tools while remaining driven by greed, domination, fear, and ego, then those tools could produce suffering on scales never seen before. Some philosophers think a future civilization running simulations of past humans might already exist, which leads to the famous simulation hypothesis. So here is the spiritual perspective on digital humans. Many spiritual traditions question whether consciousness is reducible to computation. In Vedic philosophy, consciousness originates from the soul, or the Atman, which is what I teach you, and the brain is more like an instrument. From that perspective, even a perfect brain simulation would only reproduce mental patterns, not the true conscious self. So a digital human might behave like a person but not actually contain a soul. Hint, hint, as to what you see out there, even today. that debate would become one of the biggest philosophical questions in the future. So are you reconsidering where you place your focus? I'm not going to be alive forever, obviously, and neither are you. I maybe have only around, 70 more years, if I'm lucky, 60, 70 more years of life. I don't have that much time to teach the world about who they are and teach the world about the importance of human life and this human form of life as being used as a catalyst for spiritual awakening to become liberated and to become freed from the cycle of birth and death. I don't have that much time, So I need you to get this, and I need you to start reading specifically the Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because the Gita has specific instructions for how to die. Death not only is the final test, but it is the way out of here if done correctly. If you die with the intention of focusing your consciousness upon the form of Lord Vishnu, that is where you will go. You will never have to take a material body ever again. You will be blessed with a spiritual body because you would have established bhakti, you would have established devotional love for God within this human form of life. And that is what human life is meant for. It's not meant for all of this carnage and all of this huge wastage of energy and all of this just really absolute destruction of naturalism and destruction of human life. Instead, human life is meant for self-realization. So this is why you must read the Gita and try to understand it. I know it's very complex. I know that it's very difficult to understand. I know that it seems religious. It's not religious. It's a scientific text. And it's real science. The science of liberation, the science of the self, the science of self-realization. Now, in the Gita, there's a specific section in which Lord Krishna, who walked this planet right before Kali Yuga began, described how to die and the process of liberation. And he also described reincarnation and the process of reincarnation. So the way to actually die properly, which you must know to escape the cycle of birth and death for good, is to fixate your mind upon the form of Sri Vishnu, upon the form of Sri Krishna, ideally, actually, and focus your life breath, your prana, between the two eyebrows, so on the third eye area. And as you inhale and exhale, you take your last breath, basically, you focus your consciousness upward upon the form of Krishna. And then you go there. You must know this. You must know this. And you must even try to practice it through meditation. This is why we chant the Maha Mantra and meditate upon the form of Krishna. That's why we do this, People who don't know any of this stuff will think that meditation is a waste of time. They'll think that reading the Gita is a waste of time, or focusing your mind upon the form of Sri Krishna is a waste of time. But that's actually the most important thing you can do in this life. That's the only thing you need to be doing in this life. Everything else is a waste of time. It's a waste of this human form of life. It's a waste of this blessing that you've been given to be a human being in this lifetime. Things are changing rapidly. Things are going to continue to change rapidly in the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years. Be very conscious about your consciousness. Do you understand? Anything that wants to be put inside of you in any way is parasitic. Please know this. You have been already equipped with a beautiful mind, a beautiful intelligence capable of registering the most complex issues, such as the God question, which is not complex at all. The answer is not complex. It's found within your heart. But you have been given a brilliant mind and brilliant intelligence. Do not let it be stolen. Even especially by scrolling. Do not let it be stolen by, look at my lock screen first of all. Stay focused on the image of God. Okay? Do not let your mind be taken by these. Please. Instead, produce. Leave a legacy. I may not be around in 60 to 70 years, but hopefully my messages still are, in different ways, of course. And hopefully my messages can assist people during that time. Because people need to understand who they are. Because everything around them is attempting to steal that knowledge, that information, that light away from them. Okay? So if you want to read a free copy of the Bhagavad Gita as well as the Srimad Bhagavatam and different other texts that are extremely in-depth, you can find them in the link of the description of this video. I will have a link for you, or you can simply look up vedabase.io. That is the whole link. I'll also have other resources for you in the description of this video. Please try. You can even just access the website on your phone and start reading. Just try. Give it a shot, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this video interesting. Understand that the goal of human life is liberation, not any of this stuff. And the more you understand that, the more deeply you understand that, the richer you are. Okay? That's true wealth. I love you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you very soon. Peace.